This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic.
Ooh-wee!
And we are back for the Rick and Johnny. I don't know why I did it that way today.
I don't either.
I gave myself even a pause after that because I was like, that was weird. I usually never introduce Johnny like I just did. But welcome into the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on Most Valuable Podcast. Johnny's like, yeah, never do that again. Never introduce me. Introduce me with respect that I deserve on this show. But if you're new to the Rick and Johnny podcast, this is usually, as I'm dropping shit behind me, this is usually the shenanigans that you get each and every week from Johnny and myself, talking about everything under the two nerdy suns, from Marvel to DC to Star Wars to video games. Everything nerdy, we got it covered right here on the Rick and Johnny podcast. Before we get into everything for today, make sure to check us out, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That is where you help support us. $1 gets you into the Discord server. You can talk to all the MVP guys, as well as our Patreon family on Discord 24/7. You can also, at the $5 tier, suggest your questions into the show. And at the $10 tier, you can come join a podcast each and every month and talk about whatever it is you would like to talk about. So patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcasts. That is down below in the description. But Johnny, a complete MCU show today, as I came in with a Batman topic because, yet again, Batman. We're just like, Batman. It pains me to do this because he's my favorite hero. But for the second week in a row, we're kind of pushing him off. Don't worry, we will get to Batman next week because we've got tons of casting news. I'm just going to break this to you right now if you haven't heard. Do you know who is most likely going to be Alfred in the Batman, the Matt Reeves movie?
I have not.
Andy Serkis.
Interesting.
Andy Serkis is probably going to be our Pennywise. And also...
Pennywise?
Not Pennywise. Pennyworth. Alfred Pennyworth.
That's an interesting choice.
I think of Serkis, and I'm like, oh, he'd be a good Pennywise, but he's going to be our Alfred.
Skarsgård's a good Pennywise.
But then also Colin Farrell, I believe it is rumored to now be our Penguin after Jonah Hill dropped out of that running. But we're going to get to all that next week. MCU all this week. We're going to be looking at Doctor Strange 2. We're going to be looking at WandaVision. We're going to be looking at Ant-Man 3. Those are kind of the big three that we're going to touch in this podcast. And we're actually going to start with Doctor Strange 2 because there's a lot to unpack with this, Johnny, because first off, it was the whole premise of Doctor Strange 2, as we know, is it's going to dabble into the multiverse. Like Kevin Feige said at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, was just because Quentin Beck. I'm thinking of Quantum Realm, and I combined Quentin and Quantum. Quentin Beck wasn't dealing with the multiverse in Spider-Man. Doesn't mean they don't exist. We will dive into that in Doctor Strange 2. And then the director also said that it will be the first horror movie for an MCU film, as they will have Nightmare as the villain and kind of dive in to that nightmare realm. So the first thing, and also they came out this week and said that Loki will be a part of it in some way. Not the actual story, but we'll probably have a post-credit scene because Doctor Strange 2 is going to set up the Loki Disney Plus series. So the thing I wanted to start with is the smaller one, is that of, since Loki's not going to be an actual part of the movie, like a big part of the movie, how is this going to set up the Loki Disney Plus series? Because from what we know about that, is it's Tesseract Loki from Endgame basically going throughout time and different realities, kind of changing key events. Like we have a screenshot that's circulating online of him at a movie premiere, and in the background it's the movie premiere for Jaws, which came out, I believe, in the 80s.
I believe so.
So we already know that. If you are Kevin Feige, congratulations, I did it again.
Yeah, you did. You forgot to bring my jacket, though.
I forgot to bring you your jacket and hat. I will do that in the future. Maybe that'll be your Christmas gift. But
that sucks.
How are you setting up Loki Disney Plus series using Doctor Strange 2?
Shit, I'm trying to think. Maybe. Let me think. So we got Loki using the Tesseract, messing with shit. I would say part of it would be maybe he starts by noticing influxes in certain things where he's got to go to another, like...
You're saying Doctor Strange notices influxes? Okay.
Where it's like, okay, wait, this isn't right. Goes to it, and he's like kind of almost starts off as cleaning Loki's messes.
Yes.
And then it comes down to actually he runs into Nightmare. And then just whatever goes from there. That's the general, like... spitball that I have so far.
I didn't even think about that when I was thinking about it, where what you can do, and this doesn't make Loki a main part of the movie, but it makes him a part of the movie, is maybe Doctor Strange notices, because Wanda's also going to be in this, Scarlet Witch, and it's really about her and Doctor Strange fighting Nightmare in the Nightmare realm. And the thing that I'm just going to spitball off yours, Doctor Strange notices, hey, there's an abnormality here. He goes to check it out and notices, wait, something's not right. Like, kind of like maybe I don't want to say he's back in time because we're not dealing with the quantum realm like we were in Endgame, but he is in a different multiverse, and it's like, wait, this isn't supposed to be like this is, and maybe like he like opens up, I want to say like opens up the books, because with Doctor Strange it's all about the old books and stuff, and it's like, wait, that's not supposed to be how it is in this multiverse, and that kind of clues him off to where we don't know what it is that did that until we get a very think back to Avengers 1 type of post-credit scene where I'm thinking the one where we have the Doctor comes in, opens the Tesseract box, and in the mirror, we see Loki standing there. Where it's kind of one of those where it's like, oh, that's who pulled this string that made that happen. And maybe that's how they set it up, where it's like something earlier in the movie happens, and then we find out later that it's, oh, that was Tesseract Loki that did that. Okay, so that's kind of what he's doing. Kind of like where they suggest where it's like, oh, he wasn't in this movie, but he's running around doing things in the multiverse while this movie's going
So I'm
on.
going to go a little bit off of yours. And then
that's
a little
usually
bit of
what
changes.
I like to do here.
So I'm trying to think how to include Wanda in this still, but it's going to be like Doctor Strange going, like maybe he... like you said, sort of like detects is probably the wrong word for me to use, but I'm just gonna go with it for now.
Just notices.
Yeah, he notices that something's not right.
He's aware to it
because he's supposed to be watching like the magic users, and Loki's on his list. I don't know if it's ever revealed to him that Loki's dead because he was snapped away for 5 years.
Yeah, you're right. In Infinity War, no one ever told him that he's dead.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, because they didn't get to see Thor.
Yeah, unless he finds out, unless they do a scene in the beginning of this movie where Thor is in it, and he finds out Loki's dead, and then that kind of maybe then that makes it more aware. If like let's say early in the film we show him finding out that Loki is dead, but then it's like, wait, I thought he was supposed to be dead. Why do I see him here? Well, but yet again, that makes him part of the movie. I was going
to say it's like a more so a he doesn't know he's dead, so he goes. He's sent like senses or whatever word you want to use, that there's like a magic being used said like resemblance of Loki. He goes, well, shit, I gotta go check this type out. I thought. Make sure like shit stuff isn't going to shit, and for whatever I'm trying to think how to include Wanda is the problem I'm having, but he goes to check it out. It ends up being Nightmare instead, who's got a fairly similar magic to Loki. Maybe
I will say this, and this is what I'm going to call the tease. Don't worry about Wanda right now.
Yeah.
I will tell you how we get Wanda into this when we talk about WandaVision.
Okay.
In the next topic.
Gotcha.
But, like, this one I think is the smallest one. Of basically, the point of us saying is something happens later on in the post-credit scene. We find out, oh, Loki was running around doing this at the same time, because the whole timeline of it is this, that WandaVision, and maybe we should have done it this way for the sake of continuity.
Yeah.
But I was going on which, for the headline, Doctor Strange 2 is the more premier of the titles, but WandaVision will happen first.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange happens right after that. They're all in the spring of 2021, I want to say.
A lot
but
of those,
it's
yeah.
WandaVision first, then Doctor Strange 2, then right after that, maybe May, is going to be the Loki Disney Plus series. So they kind of happen in succession, one after another. Here's the big part that I wanted to talk about with this, and the multiverse and kind of what's been going on behind the scenes at Marvel. So, if you guys haven't known, Marvel canceled a lot of its Marvel television projects that it had coming up. One of them being the Ghost Rider series. Basically, what Kevin Feige did was he was made the head of not just Marvel TV, but Marvel movies and Marvel comics. So any story coming out of Marvel right now, it goes through Kevin Feige before it comes out. The thing that I am thinking from this movie, since we're dealing with multiverses, and pretty much when I see the word madness, I'm thinking the multiverse is going to break in some way, and it's going to not be, I don't think it's going to be fixed. Like, they may fix it to where it's like, oh, it's not broken, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like when your toy breaks and you fix it and you're like, yep, well, this arm is never going to be the exact same again. Kind of one of those things where the multiverse is going to break. We may fix it to where it's stable, but it ain't going to be anywhere close to where it was. I want to ask you, could Marvel use this movie to set up Ghost Rider, to set up Blade, and more importantly, could they use it to set up the X-Men and the Fantastic Four?
To set up Ghost Rider, I'm going to say definitely, because especially if they're jumping through multiverses or different universes, one of them could be a resemblance or actually be Hell.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, who's to say Hell's not like its own kind of multiverse per se? Like, I don't even know if it's like multiverse like people think. When they say multiverse, it's not necessarily like DC Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 4. This is more so... so just honestly, you would have to watch that first movie, Doctor Strange, where the ancient one,
Supreme.
Yeah, Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, that's what
ancient
Doctor
one
Strange is now.
He is now, yeah.
Yeah.
Like hits him, sends him into his astral form, and when he's basically barreling through,
like there's one where he got the hands growing,
hands off of his fingers, hands off of hands off of hands. There's one where he actually sees Dormammu. Dormammu's his own. Basically a ruler of his own multiverse, or one of his universes.
Dimension.
The dimension, thank you. When
when
they say multiverse, I feel like it's more of like the dimensions.
They're thinking more Rick and Morty dimensions rather than the DC Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3.
Yeah,
Earth
which
4.
actually Rick and Morty is more like that too. It's you got Rick C-137,
That's right. Good
you got
point.
Rick this one, the scientist formerly known as Rick, etc., etc. That's more like a DC setup too. I feel like this is like when they say multiverse of madness, this might be more of a him jumping from dimension to dimension, as they called it in the first one. That's what I'm thinking. It's more like, because I don't think he's jumping from like this Earth to this Earth to this Earth, which Quentin Beck hinted at, but that was because he was from this one. He was just making up the story.
Apparently, so I got two things here.
Yeah.
One, the definition from Marvel Comics of a multiverse. A multiverse is a collection of alternate universes with a similar nature and a universal hierarchy. The Marvel multiverse contains the universe that holds Earth 6116. Most of the what-if universes as well as a vast number of alternate Marvel Universe Earths. So it's basically, they're not saying, oh, Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3. It's just, we're the main one, but this multiverse has different versions of our Earth. Or even, like you said, Dormammu has his own multiverse that he rules. Nightmare has his own multiverse that's kind of like his version of hell, where he brings nightmares and makes them real. And for me, I wonder if they're going to use this movie. Ghost Rider is super easy. The only thing that they have to decide, and what I was going to ask you, is they're pretty much, I think, going to set up a Ghost Rider movie in the future.
Yeah.
With this movie, I don't know. Maybe this movie opens the door for them to do it. But the question that I was going to ask you is, if you're doing a Ghost Rider movie, are you going to do Johnny Blaze, which is the original Ghost Rider, or do you continue on what they did with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over there, wasn't Robbie Reyes the one they used?
Yes.
So in your mind, yet again, you're doing a Ghost Rider movie. What do? Do you go with Robbie Reyes like you did in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or do you go with Johnny Blaze and have it be the original?
I'd be down for either, to be honest, because either way, I don't think you have... in this one, as of now, there's no actual Ghost Rider.
No.
So you can go off of either. I would say go Johnny Blaze because he's the original.
And correct me if I'm wrong, was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., do we know if that's a different multiverse or if that was on our Earth?
That was supposed to be our Earth because I think that's supposed to be our Earth because it's...
But Robbie Reyes was from a different multiverse.
He was the Ghost Rider. Okay. There was a poster in the background of one of them that like said the name Johnny Blaze on it. That was the hint to him, but it never said he was Ghost Rider. Yeah, any of that. But they decided to go this one with a Robbie Reyes, which I wouldn't be opposed to Robbie Reyes, but I would say almost like, unless you want to incorporate the Nicolas Cage
Ghost Rider.
If you want to incorporate the Nicolas Cage and say, yeah, he technically is part of the MCU to some degree, and have him like almost like he's passing the torch type thing, kind of like they did in the first Ghost Rider movie, wouldn't be opposed to that, but I don't think Marvel would go ahead and do that. They would probably just want to restart, and then at that point, I would say go Johnny Blaze for now. You can always have him pass the torch later on if you want to jump into a Robbie Reyes.
I mean, or here, let me see really quick, because the whole reason why this is even possible is because of, by having Nightmare in here, it can give you, like, Nightmare and the spirits of vengeance are related. And if I'm not mistaken, the spirits of vengeance are the big kind of MacGuffin, I'll say, that gives Ghost Rider his power.
He is possessed by the spirit of vengeance.
Yes, I mean, by having Nightmare in this, spirit of vengeance can be maybe kind of even if it's like the Infinity Gauntlet in Thor 1, or was that Thor 2, where they were walking down, it's like, oh my God, there's the Eternal Flame. Oh my God, there's the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh my God,
Thor 1.
Where it's like...
Or they also did it again in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, maybe it's something like that. Yeah, maybe it's something like that where it's just like, okay, it's there. It's in the universe now. It's here. But they could also... I don't know if they do this, but they could also go with Danny Ketch also for Ghost Rider. Danny Ketch was... After his sister was injured by ninja gangsters, Ketch came into contact with a motorcycle that somehow had been basically enchanted to contain the essence of a spirit of vengeance. Blaze reappeared in the 1990s series as a supporting character, and it was later revealed that Danny and his sister were Johnny Blaze's long-lost siblings. So Ketch was the second one. I don't know if I do that. If I'm doing Ghost Rider, go with the original. Go with Johnny Blaze. How about the other two, though? Could this be the thing that gives us the X-Men in the MCU?
I'd say save that for an Earthbound hero to do. like something that's going to take place on
Like it doesn't
Earth.
like I'm not saying where it's like they mention, oh, now X-Men exist, but could this movie, and maybe we get more into this with WandaVision, and that's what bridges us into this. Is this movie, because the multiverse, or because the multiverse gets shattered, is this what gives them the reason of like, hey, these universes may be blended together, and now the X-Men exist. Now Blade exists in our universe.
would just have a different movie do that, because this is going to be jumping multiverse to multiverse. Let it be another movie that, like, on our MCU...
I'm not saying explain it. I'm saying, like, I'm saying back and go, okay.
Let it be another movie that does it. To not be like, he's jumping from multiverse to multiverse. Hey, there's mutants on this one. Then you go... Or, like, because some people, if they're a casual... are not going to follow it like you and I would be able to understand.
I'm saying have it be subtle. I'm not saying like
that's why I'm saying
slap in the face.
Save it another one.
I'm saying even if it's something like not even I'm saying not even shown on the screen.
Vampires are already part of the MCU.
Are they?
Yeah, if you think about it, Thor Ragnarok, when he's talking to Korg getting ready for the combat, he goes, "Would you like to use a giant wooden fork?" And Thor goes, no. He goes, yeah, they'd only be good if 3 vampires would huddle together. So they're already in the MCU.
Good point.
Vampires are already there. We don't really need... Well, we don't really need an introduction to Blade now. Obviously, casuals probably didn't catch that.
Yeah.
You didn't even remember that.
No,
I just watched Thor Ragnarok 50 or more times. So
I mean, that's...
that plays into it.
Yeah.
But, I mean... I would say take another movie that's not going to jump from multiverse to multiverse to hint at it, to reference it, just because you don't want to confuse the casuals, too. You got to remember that you and I, we watch these movies on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You and I, we're going to go see it, maybe see it twice, buy it when it comes out.
And we're also going to probably someday when we want to do
our... for Disney Plus.
Exactly. But when we do our full MCU and review that we want to do, we're not going to call it that exactly, but like... The idea that I've had that we watch them not in order that they came out.
Chronologically.
But the order that they would have appeared. I don't know if that's even better. I don't know if it's worse because of post-credit scenes. But we'll find out.
It kind of messes things up a little bit depending on the one.
But I mean, with this one, Doctor Strange 2 is probably the Phase 4 movie I am most excited for. I'm sorry, Johnny. It's not Love and Thunder. This is the one I am most excited for.
Ricky, I'm excited for them all.
Well, only because I feel like, number one, this is going to be the movie that pushes the boundaries the most, being the first... When they said the first horror movie for the MCU...
Oh, no, for sure.
I was like, holy shit, that's going to be cool. Now, it's not going to be like rated R horror. In my mind, it's PG-13 horror, so take that into consideration.
Exactly.
It's not like we're seeing a Brightburn out there with him just killing people left and right.
Yeah.
But I mean... It's going to be interesting.
I'll wait till you're done. Go ahead.
No,
because I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, because I was going to say that there's something that could be done in this movie that leads into WandaVision.
Okay, hit me with it.
Well, I was going to let you finish what you were
I'm
finishing
done.
Up. Okay.
I think it's going to be interesting.
So,
I'm the most excited for. This is the one that I'm most excited for out of all the movies.
I'm always excited for all the Marvel movies.
I get that, but you can be excited for one more than the other.
Yeah, as they come out, I'm excited for that one most. Anyway, so one I was thinking about was
tease going into the second discussion.
Here's where my scenario comes in. So I don't know how we get Wanda into this movie yet. I've not thought about that, but
I will feed you, baby bird.
Okay. Would you like to do that first before I give this? Because mine will.
Okay. So is this? Do you want this to be in the WandaVision topic or at the end of this one?
Put yours at the end of this one. I'll put mine in the WandaVision one.
Okay. So
you will have to watch the WandaVision now to get what I was talking about.
You know what? I'm going to put it at the top of the WandaVision one. So I will end this one if you're on YouTube, yes, like Johnny said, you're going to have to go
check out
and check out
WandaVision one
come on, if you're
tomorrow.
If you're a fan of the podcast, like
or
they're
later
all
if
up
you're
in
on
the
Friday.
same day. They're all up in the same day now.
Oh, are they?
So yeah. So
you told me
like,
they come out one day a week. That's last you told me.
We changed it.
You changed it.
No, we did.
Who's
Sean,
we?
Dave, and I.
Oh, see, no one tells me anything.
We changed it on the MVP channel, which changed it on the Nerd channel.
They don't tell me shit.
Because if I would have told you, you know what you would have said? Okay.
Exactly. But
so I just go ahead and do it.
But see that now I look like a
Johnny, like, now I look like an asshole. Thanks, asshole. But yeah, so if you're looking at this, wait 2 hours, it'll be out. Or if you're like, hey, I didn't catch this right at 10:15 Central Time when it came out, guess what? The Wanda one's out. Go ahead and check it out. But let us know what you guys think down below. How does Doctor Strange 2, how is it going to, like, how would you set up the Loki Plus series with it? Would you use it to set up X-Men, Fantastic Four, Blade, Ghost Rider? Let us know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. And let's continue our discussion with the WandaVision. If you're on YouTube, thank you for coming back. You're coming from the Doctor Strange video, or if you just found this, go and check out. We talked about Doctor Strange kind of leading into this, kind of a part 1, part 2 discussion. Before we get into everything, make sure to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MostValPodcast. Sooner rather than later, we are going to be live on Twitch doing our podcast, so make sure you follow us there so that you're ahead of the curve and can watch us live on Twitch when we go and put those live. But Johnny, let's talk about WandaVision. What will the Disney Plus series mean for Scarlet Witch? That's what I originally had down. We are going to hit that, but kind of leading in from our second discussion is, first let's talk Doctor Strange 2. Or I'll ask you this. Do you want to start with her series, because that comes before the movie, or continue our discussion about Doctor Strange 2 before we talk about her series? Or her involvement in it and what
let's
that
do her
means.
involvement in it.
Okay. So this is basically what I think is going to happen, because in the WandaVision series, what we know about that is they're going to take it from, oh shoot, who wrote that comic book run? I always forget who wrote it. So it's the Vision comic book run from, I think it was the 2015-2016. Yeah. Where basically Vision creates his own family. Yeah, I can't find who wrote that. But Vision creates his own family. He's got a wife, he's got a son, he's got a daughter. And it's basically his perfect, the Roy Thomas, there it is. The Roy Thomas run, where Vision creates his perfect family set in 1950s. Like, it's his perfect 1950s American dream family that he's always wanted. And shit eventually goes off the rails because it's unstable, because Vision is unstable. It sounds like they're going to take exactly from that. The only change is it's not Vision that's doing it. It's Wanda that's doing it. So think of Wanda using her powers to create her own little world.
Yeah.
Where her and Vision are together. She brings Vision back. They have their own kids. And then what basically I think is going to happen is somehow it could be Nightmare. It could be Loki. Somebody is going to mess with her so much in this kind of world. Someone who's able to get into it. Get her to snap. And when she snaps, because of how powerful she is, and without us really knowing why she's so powerful, she snaps, and boom, that breaks the multiverse. Where it doesn't just break her little world that she created, it basically shatters the multiverse. And that's where Doctor Strange goes, whoa, what the fuck is this? I got to go check that out. And that's how
so
she gets
WandaVision comes
involved.
before?
Yes, WandaVision will be before Doctor Strange 2. I feel like at the cliffhanger at WandaVision will be her breaking and boom, shattering the multiverse.
I can still make my idea work. It just one of two ways. Because my brain forgot that WandaVision came before Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And let's say, I'm going to start with, had it been flipped, WandaVision comes after Doctor Strange. It could be, so she's with Doctor Strange doing whatever, Nightmare shows her, hey, you could have this if you help me out.
Basically, like, have her perfect dream.
Have her perfect dream. Like, does like one of those like that, and it's like she's in the 1950s thing. Vision's alive. They have kids. The whole like scenario that we can see on this video.
The 1950s.
The whole 1950s aesthetic, exactly. And shows her all of that. And then just like that's what like after the movie, that's what kind of sets her off. Starts to set her off the rails of making it herself.
Yeah.
But
since it's coming beforehand,
it could still be set up that way, but it'd be like one of two ways. It'd be like a Doctor Strange technically came, but it'd have to be like, hey, Doctor Strange technically came before it, but it came out opposite ways. Or it could be...
I don't think they do that.
Or it could be that she was already doing this in WandaVision, where she's already making this reality, and then when she goes into the multiverse of madness to help Doctor Strange, or...
Doctor Strange has to come in to help her.
Exactly. Nightmare, like, all that shattered. Let's say the whole reality fell apart and shattered. Nightmare goes, like, basically, come to my side. I can put it all back together for you.
Yeah, and I mean, that's...
But he's, let's say he's the one that did tear it apart because he's Nightmare.
Yeah,
He's the one that set that off, but he's going, like, one of these, it all flies back together, and she's perfect American dream again. Back together, it's like, I can make this all happen for you if you just come with me.
Yeah. Or he plays with her emotions of, like, he sets her up in that, but then basically from, like, I'm thinking the Roy Thomas run where there's a famous panel of Vision's daughter, like, curled up, like, crying on the floor. Like how you would if you sat against the wall and had your knees up to, like, your chin, kind of crying. And that's, like, where everything's falling apart. That's where the Nightmare can set in, where it's like, hey, this vision that you have isn't as perfect as you thought it is. And that's where Nightmare kind of maybe seeps in. I'm thinking before Doctor Strange 2. Maybe they kind of introduce, they don't call it Nightmare, but you know something's influencing her. That's where things come off the rail. We kind of see things where they change to the, like, it starts getting a little darker.
First few episodes are like her, like set up like the whole WandaVision, the family, the American dream, and then like as the episodes go, like daughter's crying and like in that the curled up position, all of a sudden just like she get like sort of a mom, what's wrong type thing. Looks up in her, it's Nightmare's face real quick, and then
well. And that's the thing. My question is...
And there's little pops of Nightmare.
Would they introduce Nightmare in the WandaVision series just a little bit at the end?
It'd be cool.
Teasing. Because, yet again, we've never seen this from Marvel. Marvel and Disney have...
crossover.
They've never done the TV to movie game. So
but now everything is.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't know... And I'm not saying, like, no, they're not going to do that. I'm saying we don't have any, like... predisposition of, like, with the movies we could say, well, they probably won't do that because we have about 10 years of catalog that, like, what they've done and kind of what their habits are and how they introduce things in this. But this is fair game. This is new territory for us.
So they can do whatever they want.
So I'll ask you, I might stay, part of me wants to say they won't, but I'll ask you,
that's probably a predisposition of never doing it before.
Nightmare in the WandaVision series, even if it's at the end, like maybe the last 2 episodes.
Throw him sort of in there.
We see Nightmare before Doctor Strange 2.
Sort of a Loki style, throw him in there. He's not really like going to be a main antagonist, but he's going to be...
Who?
Nightmare.
Nightmare is the antagonist.
I'm saying...
you're talking about the WandaVision.
He's not going to be the main antagonist in WandaVision, but he's going to be the one that's unraveling the sweater.
Okay. Like
that's what I would do.
He's the one pulling the strings, you're saying.
I wouldn't even say pulling the strings. This one, he's taking that thread and he's unraveling this. So, like, he found out, like, massive amount of magic being used. I'll call it magic because we got no other real word for it.
Yeah.
Who's not going to want that? She almost by herself killed Thanos. She could have had he not rained fire because she was going to crush him. But anyways, if she's got enough, let's put it this way. She's got enough magic to create a reality for herself. Could you imagine what, it had Nightmare would want that actually.
What?
To amplify his power. Mm-hmm. So I could see them if they want to tie all this in, introduce Nightmare a little bit here and there, or the very last 2 episodes, and don't make him a direct antagonist. Mm-hmm. Make him like the Loki that was shown in the mirror, the window, the behind the scenes, everything. Little glimpses of him here and there, but do not make any direct contact. Mm-hmm. He's unraveling her reality to where, boom, she just bomb goes off. And then maybe it's a kind of battle between Doctor Strange and Nightmare to bring Wanda either completely off the rails or bring her back to reality.
So here's another thing I want to ask you, because from the comic, we know that Vision, when it was Vision,
yeah,
mom, boy, girl were the kids. Mm-hmm. There's a casting call that people have been... God, it just feels so dirty saying that, casting call. There's a casting, I should say, for Marvel. What, you don't get the joke? Right over your head?
No, I think I do. And
usually casting call, and especially in my mind, has a very dirty connotation to it.
Why don't you continue?
Yeah. There's a casting by Marvel, I'll say.
Yes.
Where apparently Big Red is kind of their behind-the-scenes code name for WandaVision. Yeah. And it says, so there's a lot of people tweeting this out. The one I've got is from comicbook.com. It's the @cinematic banter. He said, for reference, this is the actual casting call. Big Red is the working title for WandaVision. And it says Big Red TV. And then there's a part blacked out, redacted. But underneath it says, in parentheses, babies, Caucasian baby boys or girls, single, twin, triplets, or combos, 6 months and under. Here's my question to you. Is this just them, hey, there were kids in the Vision run, she's obviously going to make kids in the 1950s, but what most people are thinking is that could this be them in some way casting a baby to be the introductions of the 2 kids, Wiccan and Speed. I believe it's Wiccan and Speed. One is Wiccan for sure.
Yeah, one's
who
Wiccan.
I believe becomes a young Avenger, if I'm not mistaken. Is this just something we would read into, or could you see them, hey, one of the kids that she creates, because the multiverse breaks, the kid becomes real and then becomes Wiccan? Because that's the whole thing that I don't get when people say they want to also influence the Wiccan scenario when Wanda and Vision had a kid, but Vision was still alive at that point. Vision's not alive anymore. So I mean, unless she finds a Vision in an alternate reality because of Doctor Strange 2, or because of WandaVision. I don't think she'd find it in WandaVision, but I mean, unless she finds a Vision and creates a separate timeline or a branch like Loki did when Loki got out of there with the Tesseract, created a branch like the Ancient One had told us about. I don't know how they fit Wiccan into this because of Vision being dead.
So Vision, let's put the timeline together.
Yeah.
Vision dies.
In Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Uh-huh.
Wanda
disappears.
5 years later.
Uh-huh. She comes back.
So
this is end of Endgame.
So for her, it's only been a couple months max. Not even. Could she be pregnant?
Oh my God, Johnny.
You're welcome.
Oh my.
I broke him again.
Because you think about it, how much time do you think happened between... Remember when they were not in America? Like, remember when Captain America and that saved them? How much time happened between that and the end of Infinity War? Not that long, right? Couple
Not that
days?
long, yeah.
And do we know the 5 years for everyone else? What, it felt like, 3 months or something? Do we know the exact time?
5 years?
Yeah.
Felt like nothing to them.
Oh, so they didn't age. That's why they didn't age at all.
No. No one aged. No one, nothing. It's like they just stopped. 5-year gap. They just started from there. Could she be?
That's how they do it. That is how they do it. They've got to do it that way.
If they want to actually have Wiccan, that's one way they could do it.
Oh, here's my thing.
Because they were having relations, to be PG about it, at the beginning of Infinity War.
There's also, because in here it says from comicbook.com, we've heard time and time again the series will be influenced by Tom King's Vision comics run, where Vision goes on a horror-fueled journey in an attempt to create a family for himself. I said Rob Thomas, I meant Tom King earlier. With Vision technically out of the picture on screen for now, it's totally possible for the show to flip things around and show Maximoff using her powers to conjure a family of her own. What I've been saying. But yeah, I didn't even think about that she could have been pregnant before the snap.
Not sure that people might argue Vision can't do that because he's half.
He did it in the comics.
No, that
they did it in the comics.
They did.
They made a kid in the comics.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Or what if we get a snapback, no pun intended, a Vision from Wanda where she doesn't know how the snap works. Maybe because it would help if I had that. It's been forever since I read that comic, and I was very young when I read it. Exactly how they had the kid.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't remember.
And especially MCU and comics are different.
Exactly. They can take whatever twist they want on it.
Unless they're saying because
he does have human tissue.
Yeah, but
it's just mixed with vibranium.
Because he can shift into that human form. Can he then create his own sperm within his body?
He has DNA.
Yeah.
Because he's not just...
So it's basically he uses the Mind Stone to make the parts and just say, this is how it works for a human, so I can do the same thing. And the DNA, he's got the DNA in him. Or a part of him. I mean,
he's got... in general, he has...
Because he's part Ultron, part Jarvis, part human, right?
Yeah, because, he's got... It's a combination of... human DNA, human tissue. I don't know. It's supposed to replicate someone's tissue, but then also it's got vibranium mixed with it.
God, could you imagine if they end up being because now he's dead, if it's Tony's tissue? Tony used his own, and that's kind of like how Tony's not technically dead in the MCU.
That'd be interesting. But
he is dead, but part of Tony's DNA lives in the MCU because of that.
Maybe. I wasn't going to nitpick into that. But anyways.
I just did. It's there.
Yeah.
That thought's out there.
So Tony has 2 kids.
Morgan and now Wiccan.
Yeah. No, but I was going to say, have him, maybe MCU could make it to where she got pregnant. Mm-hmm. That's your start of Wiccan.
Like an off-screen.
And maybe it's her starting as, maybe she they don't obviously not going to show the actual birth, but maybe they show her.
What if she finds out
and realizes, hey, he needs a dad, and she makes Vision, and it slowly snowballs from there.
So what you're saying is that she finds out. You're saying she finds out before Wanda, at the beginning of WandaVision, and that's why she makes the family.
Maybe that could be one route to do it.
See, I don't... You know what? I don't like that route.
No?
I don't.
You don't like the pregnancy route?
Here's what I like better. No, I like that. I don't like her... I'm going to paint the picture. Ready?
Okay.
Beginning of WandaVision. She's destroyed. Vision's not there. The whole world is... she lost 5 years of her life, basically. Not physically, not health-wise, but she was snapped away for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Everything's
takes a toll
changed
on you. And... she's maybe depressed, wants Vision back, wants that perfect family. So she creates that. creates her own little universe, her own little multiverse, let's say.
Creates Vision, brings back her brother, maybe.
Exactly. They have 2 kids and her vision of what they would look like. And Nightmare comes in, like we've mentioned, breaks the whole thing. Because she is so powerful, it doesn't just break hers, it breaks the entire multiverse. It affects the entire multiverse. That's where we go into Doctor Strange 2. Doctor Strange comes in. They fight Nightmare. They're in the Nightmare realm. That whole movie happens.
I feel like...
And then Wait.
Yeah, I'm listening.
And then at the end of Doctor Strange 2, she finds out that she's pregnant. Because then what that does is that gives her a glimmer of hope. I can have, it's not going to be exactly like I wanted it with Vision, me, kids, but I have something to live for now. Maybe she doesn't have it yet. And it's like, oh, wow, you're about 5 months pregnant. It's like, what? Wait, what? Or like, you're pregnant. Wait, what? I'm what? Maybe if it's like a month or 2, because it's got to be to where she's not showing. But like you said, the snap, the baby wouldn't have grown because she was snapped away.
Mm-hmm. She and the baby wouldn't have aged.
Exactly.
Or grown.
So I like that better because then what that sets up is she can have the kid in a future, even if it's off screen, can have the kid. And then you know what that also ties into now that they have the X-Men?
Mm-hmm.
Her and Wiccan, single mom thing coming along. Who comes in? Father figure. Kid needs a father. Of course, I'm not going to be your husband because that would be very weird, but Grandpa comes into the situation. Magneto's here to make it all better. Daddy's here to make everything better. And then that's where, you can then lead into, then that's where we get the, oh, you were never a miracle. Don't believe that shit. You're one of us. And, that can lead her into this. And then you can have Wiccan. You can have Scarlet Witch. And that can lead her into when you want to introduce Magneto down the line. Because I can't wait until we get to that point. A Magneto, Brotherhood, Scarlet Witch, the whole, because they've got ways they can go. That's how I would lay the seeds.
That's I can agree with that. The one thing I'm going to add into there, and it's not me arguing with you, it's me kind of adding to it.
Yeah.
It's when, basically, I feel like it's going to be a chunk of it, or the very, very end, is going to be basically Nightmare and Doctor Strange tug-of-warring over Scarlet Witch. Him trying to pull her in, say she's got nothing left, help me spread my nightmare. Basically, he wants to, like Dormammu, he's going to want to spread his universe. He wants everything to be a nightmare. It was what I would think. And he's going to try and pull her in because he probably notices how strong she is and how much she can create a reality. If him and her together, they can probably expand his universe tenfold. And Doctor Strange is going to be pulling back. And with the doctor knowledge, I know he's a brain surgeon, but he might realize
she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Which that makes way more sense. And you know why I like it? Because, and I'm not saying this as women are hormonal, but a fact of when women are pregnant, those chemicals are firing. How would that affect Scarlet Witch's powers? If she can't contain, I don't want to say mentally, but if the hormones are firing, how is that going to, if that's unstable, what does that mean for her powers? Because she is such a powerful hero in this universe. I just thought of another thing. Speed is actually another child or another son of Wanda and Vision also.
Is he?
Do we find out that instead of doing the whole lost twin brother route, because they're both in the Young Avengers comics, and that's when he adopted the identity Speed and joined the Young Avengers, do they do the whole route of you're pregnant with twins? And then after he's born, she can then, she loves, his name's Tommy, loves Tommy just as much because since he's Speed and he's a speedster, reminds her of Quicksilver. And that creates that where it's now in a kid, she has someone that reminds him, reminds her of her brother, and then maybe Wiccan can be the one that reminds her of Vision. So that she's got both of them in. The second one is loosely tied.
I mean, that could be the route they're doing, because they said they're looking for single Caucasian triplets.
Yeah, that's the weird thing though.
So it could
triplets and like anything over
any
a
combo.
Triplet, yeah,
So it's like, hey, we'll take male and female even.
Yeah, like they're not set on it being boy and girl. I'm trying to think.
Or
anything.
Here's just one to kind of maybe
do it.
So remember the kid that Quicksilver was or when he gave his life to save that kid in Hawkeye?
Yes.
Think that any chance that could be his? Because he was hit in another scene. He was hitting on that woman before. Do you think by chance Quicksilver could have had a kid
like
a while back?
Illegitimate son.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think the MCU would take that route?
I don't know. I don't think they do the illegitimate son kind of a thing. They would do if it was anything, it would be the long lost family of Quicksilver, one that Wanda didn't know about.
Could be. Do you think they would do something like that though?
I don't know. That kind of seems like loosely like.
Just saying,
we're kind of
Speedster passed down the Speedster.
Yeah, but how important is it for Speed to be brothers with Wiccan, and both of them be the child of Wanda?
Yeah, and that depends on what the Marvel studio decides, because they don't 100% follow the comics.
Yeah, they don't. They change things. Like, I'll even say, like, look at Suicide Squad, which we haven't talked about yet, but Ratcatcher in the comics, I believe, is a dude.
Yeah, and
they're making it female in the movie, so it's like it doesn't have to be 100% with the comics.
Exactly.
Is there anything we didn't hit in this that you think?
No, I think we kind of went through this pretty well.
I'm trying to think.
I see, because there's a scene in this video you sent me actually that.
There's a link in the video?
No, there's a scene in the video that you sent me where he's actually kind of hitting on that woman that
he saved.
The child for, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that could that could just be Quicksilver being Quicksilver.
Exactly.
Oh, also, you know what was on the other day? Days of Futures Past.
Was it really?
With the most OP Quicksilver like ever made, right? Like Quicksilver can solve any problem, right?
Yep.
He can save an entire mansion from blowing up, and then eat pizza while on top of it. God, I hate that. I hate that version of Quicksilver. I love the actor and how he plays Quicksilver.
You just hate how OP he is.
Exactly. Even like in Dark Phoenix, where it's like, well, send Quicksilver there to save the day. It's like, and he failed? What? That's not possible. Quicksilver solves all the problems. Or was he not? Yeah, he was there.
No, he didn't, because basically they pulled a
that's right. He saved
Justice League.
He saved both of them and didn't save Jean, and left Jean there.
Well, because the thing is, what?
At the very beginning with the space shuttle,
yeah.
Jean was holding it all together, and Nightcrawler pulled. Wasn't it Nightcrawler pulled Quicksilver and the other two astronauts back?
Yeah.
And then Cyclops like, "Where's Jean? We gotta get Jean. Go get Jean. Oh my God, Jean.
That was mostly. I actually think it was mostly Nightcrawler, wasn't it? Though
I thought Quicksilver was a part of it.
He might have been. I don't remember.
I don't know. That movie's so shitty that I forgot.
I just remember that.
I try to forget it as much as possible.
I just remember that, like, the scene where he couldn't solve the problems because he went to go attack Jean, and they basically what do you call it? They Justice Leagued it. He didn't die. He didn't die.
Didn't he get a stake through the?
That was Raven.
It was Raven. I thought he died too.
No, he got his leg broken, I think.
That's right, and they had to stretch him out. Yet again, shitty movies I just don't keep recollection for because they're shitty movies. If you want to see my hatred for that movie, we have a review about it. So you can go check it out.
Check that out.
But any final thoughts on WandaVision?
No, I'm excited for it.
Before I go off on a Dark Phoenix tangent that doesn't need to be here.
I just think it's funny because, like I said, they literally took the same thing from Justice League, where he goes to like speedster her,
yeah,
and she actually follows him with her eyes, and he goes, "Oh shit,
yeah,
I'm fucked."
Well, let us know what you guys think down below. What do you think was going to happen to Wanda in WandaVision leading into Doctor Strange 2? Let us know everything down below in the comment section. And Johnny, let's close out the podcast. If you thought the MCU was safe, even in the Earth realm. Earth realm?
Realm.
The realm.
Even in the Earth realm.
So it's funny.
Let me put some tobacco in.
I say that because you said to me as we were in between topics, switching the camera, you're like, wow, this has been pretty much how do we destroy the MCU podcast. And if you thought Earth was safe, wait, my friends, hold my beer. The Quantum Realm has you covered. As before we get into everything, follow me on Twitter. That's what happens when
you get us all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Ricky Widmer, War Machine 9085. Instagram for Johnny is
Thor_Odinson90.
And then Most Valuable Podcast is at Most Valuable Pod. But Johnny, let's get into everything that you thought Earth was safe. Oh, cool. We're safe here on Earth.
We broke reality. Now we're going to break time.
And we're not. So the news of this and why we're talking about it is that we've got what? What are you looking at?
I said we broke reality. We're gonna break time. You go, we're not.
We're not.
I'm like, well, fuck you then.
We're not. But basically,
contradict me, you asshole.
What I'm going into is that Ant-Man 3 has now been announced. They're going to do it. They don't have the exact date yet, but Peyton Reed, who I'll be completely honest, sorry to Peyton, when I first saw that name, I was like, oh, a nice female director. And then I saw a picture of Peyton, and I went, Peyton is not a female at all. He'll be back for his third Ant-Man film. So basically what we're looking into...
Good, he does a good job.
Amazing job. But what we're looking into is the Quantum Realm was such a big deal with Infinity War and more so Endgame. It's how they were able to go back in the timeline, get the stones that they needed in order to fix what had happened. Now it is, what's that going to mean going forward? Because one of the big things that we still haven't touched is Janet Van Dyne, where basically she was in the Quantum Realm. She's got her powers now, where I know she used them to stop Ghost from phasing in and out, but ever since the end of Ant-Man 2, we've kind of put it on pause because her and Hank were also snapped away. Yeah. They were not in correct me if I'm wrong, they were not in the big fight scene.
I did not see them in the big fight scene.
So for me, one of my questions...
Which actually I was surprised.
One of my questions is, where are they? One of my other questions is, are we finally going to get an explanation of what her powers are? Because the big kind of theory here, and this is before we get into the Quantum Realm and what they're going to do with that moving forward, maybe this plays into it, is her powers the way, people love to do this. Oh, she's got powers now. Are they going to use the Quantum Realm and what the Quantum Realm brings to explain mutants in the MCU? Because we're still waiting for Marvel to explain how they're going to bring mutants into the MCU now that they have the X-Men. But I will ask you, Johnny, what do you think is going to be, how are they going to explain her powers? And how does Janet Van Dyne's powers play into everything, especially for Ant-Man 3?
Maybe once again they'll start doing their quantum, or one of two things. Either way, they're going to the Quantum Realm.
Yes.
I don't know. I have a few ideas on how or for what reason. It could be the research thing again because he got stuck in there when he was trying to gather quantum energy. Mm-hmm. And they were supposed to pull him back out, but they got dusted. Yeah. He was stuck there for 5 years. And that's where
Ant-Man, thanks to the mouse, or the rat
came
hit
back.
The button. Yeah.
True hero of Endgame.
The real MVP.
Yes. But anyways, you got him. Mm-hmm. They're going to go back. Maybe he as well. Or maybe one of the two, Janet Van Dyne or him, found that micro city.
In the comics, it's the Micronauts.
Micronauts, or the micro city. But this would be the
Quantum City?
Quantum City, the Teenyverse.
The Teenyverse. I like it. The Teenyverse. The Teenyverse.
The Microverse battery.
They're little teeny tiny. But go ahead.
Rick and Morty reference?
Saying. Yeah.
I didn't know if you got that.
No, I like it.
Anyways, so maybe they'll go that and then
Will Stephen Colbert be down there? Will he voice a character?
That'd be great. Hey, yeah, you did the teeny voice reference in Rick and Morty. Can you come do it for
We want
for
you
this?
to be the leader of the Teenyverse in the MCU.
Something. Someone in there. Someone in... Anyways.
Johnny's like, stop derailing me.
So I think it's going to have something to do with that. They're going to have maybe like he goes into there. This time he gets captured by someone from that city since it's technically... So Marvel can't use the rights to Micronauts because it's a whole Hasbro own thing.
And they licensed that when they did it.
Which is why they can't use it, call it the Microverse.
Yeah.
But whatever. We call it the Quantum Realm.
Yeah, whatever.
And they'll have their own, because in one scene they show a video you and I watched. I didn't even notice because I didn't watch Ant-Man enough times.
Where it looked like a little city.
Yeah, there's a little city, looked like it was in a little bubble, and that Marvel could say, no, that's just coincidence that it looks like a city, but it looks a little too
like skyscrapers and stuff.
A little too conveniently like a city for it to be nothing. And where was Janet for what? 50 years? Or?
Probably in that city.
Yeah, to survive there,
Mm-hmm.
and not to mention the tech she has. I have a hard time believing she made that with the lack of materials that would have been around her.
And here's another interesting thing too.
Or that could be the development of her powers.
And the video both you and I watched was from Charlie, Emergency Awesome. Great YouTube channel. Go ahead, give him. He doesn't need our help getting subscribers. No. He's got way more than us. He's got, about 3.2 million subscribers.
Don't ask me, you watching more than I do.
Well, I have the video up, so I wanted to. Yeah,
you didn't send me the video.
He's got 3 million subscribers to our... I'm counting MVP Nerd, because that's what we're on now, to our less than 100 subscribers, because we just
MVP Nerd, yeah.
Yeah, we just split the channel, what our combined 16.7 thousand, if I count the MVP regular channel. So he's got way more than us, but I mean, go give him a follow if you don't, because he's amazing in what he does, and I can tell he does the research, and it's why I use him as one of my, hey, I need to better understand this, let me see what Charlie says, because he does the research about it. But the thing with this is, one of the points that was brought up is just because Hank figured out the quantum realm and everything in our multiverse doesn't mean that there's somebody else that, or even, I'm going to say even on our Earth, because everyone's pointing to Reed Richards. What if there's a multiverse with Reed Richards, and that's how they're ending up going to link the Fantastic Four and the X-Men to us? Because the big MacGuffin, one of my favorite words, is going to be, we haven't mentioned mutants on our Earth. How are you going to explain them?
They're miracles.
Where have they been? Yeah, there's that. But I mean, the thing too was, are they going to have it where Reed Richards was kind of like the Hank Pym of a different multiverse, where it's like, instead of on this multiverse, it's not Hank Pym that figured it out, it's Reed Richards that figured it out. He's the smart mind behind it in a different multiverse, and then Doctor Strange kind of links them together, and now we're in the same multiverse. But that's another thing. Or is Reed Richards doing something over here, and he's visiting this Micronauts or this tiny verse, along with Teenyverse, along with Janet Van Dyne. It's going to be very interesting where they're going to go with it, because they could go numerous ways. And I know that there's many people. Here's the thing that pisses me off. There's a lot of people out there. I saw a post on Twitter where someone on my timeline's like, why are they making an Ant-Man 3? Ant-Man 3 is not even that great of a movie. They should be making better movies. It's like, yes, you may not like Ant-Man, but Ant-Man's the only way you explain the quantum realm. He is our link. His movies, A, are the link to the quantum realm. 2, something we'll get into, is are they going to introduce Stature in this? Because Stature being Cassie Lang, Young Avengers, we're always going to talk about that. But I mean, with the quantum realm moving forward, it's kind of like a what's next for it? And what use will it give us phase 4, phase 5? Because there's another thing too. We used quantum realm for time travel in Endgame. Do we find out through the Ant-Man movie, they explain it further, and then we find out in a post-credit scene, oh, That's how Kang is doing this. Is Kang also using, like, the example of people saying, well, someone else figured it out, is Kang in the future, and I know you, last week we talked Young Avengers, Johnny gave a whole nice Kang the Conqueror theory that you should check out, but then we get a post-credit scene, and maybe Ant-Man 3 is when we get if Kang is the villain for Young Avengers, because Young Avengers it'll be closer to the Young Avengers timeline, because the 3 dates, I was going to pull those up, that we have after Phase 4 right now are, let's see, come on, give me these dates. Here we go. So one of them is February 18th, 2022. And this ties in because we talked about this in the Young Avengers topic. So after Phase 4 completes, November 21st, I believe, is Love and Thunder, the Thor movie. Then February 18th, that's an untitled Marvel movie. That's number 1. Then you've got the Black Panther movie, which they already have a date for. I'll have to pull that one up. And then they have an untitled Marvel movie, July 29th of 2022. So they have 3 movies in 2022 lined up, 3 spots. Is Ant-Man 3 maybe going to take that February spot? Does it take the July spot? And is that post-credit scene, like, is this the movie to push the quantum realm further? And this movie gives us the exact reasoning to where the post-credit scene shows us, oh, that's how Kang is going to come in to Young Avengers. That's how he's traveling through time.
See, again, my theory wasn't with Young Avengers. Mine was with the alternate Avengers, I'm going to call them. But I was going to say...
I mean, I'm saying Young Avengers because that's what everyone feels like Marvel is going to call it. The next Avengers movie. Well, New Avengers, alternate Avengers, Young Avengers, Avengers 5, basically.
I'm saying Avengers 5. Yeah. Young Avengers are different than the alternate Avengers. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Because the Young Avengers are like Wiccan, Hulkling, blah, blah, blah.
Then I'll say for Avengers 5 then. Yeah. Is what I'll say.
Okay. I would say Ant-Man would be a great way to do that because you can have it sort of a movie where... Wow, I'm talking fast.
Go ahead.
I'm all jacked up a Mountain Dew. So... make it maybe whatever reasoning, I don't know. I don't have one yet 100% for like the quantum people of the quantum realm to capture Ant-Man, but have them capture him and or Wasp. And maybe it's because they mistake him for Kang, who's been traveling through their realm, or maybe it's because they used the quantum realm to time travel. They didn't like that. They saw it as an invasion. Yeah. Even though they just kind of traveled through it.
You're talking about the Tinyverse saw it as an invasion?
I'll just call them as Micronauts anyways.
But we're talking about the Quantum City.
Yes, the Quantum City. So I'm going to say maybe like part of the movie is them, or maybe they capture Ant-Man and like as Janet has him on like the headset, intercom. Hear him going like struggle and like basically cuts out. Capture him. They have half the movie is like sort of his part of the story of like he's stuck in there. Half the movie is like her and Stature?
Yeah, Stature
coming to save him.
So you think that Stature will be a
maybe they include Stature because like, well, I can't do this alone. And Cassie volunteers herself, saying it's basically like it's my dad I'm going with.
Yeah, so let's see. I gotta actually look up exactly what Stature's powers are because I forget.
I think she just gets the same thing as almost as Wasp, but sort of like the combined of the two of them. Maybe
I'm gonna pull it up.
Go ahead.
There we go. Stature's powers and enemies and shit. Wow, Marvel.com hit me with so their profile. Her durability is a 2. Her energy is a 0.
Oh, wow.
Her fighting skills is a 3. Her intelligence is a 2.
Oh.
Her speed's a 2. And her strength is a 2.
God,
so she's not a very strong hero.
No.
From what they're saying, they don't give me a list of her powers. So I'm just going to read what they have here. It's a 3-paragraph biography. As a young girl, Cassie's father, Scott Lang, adopted the guise of Ant-Man to help save her life. Yada, yada. I'm skipping that. Everyone knows that. Afterwards, Casey retreated herself, stunning her mother and stepfather's attempts to reach out to her. Secretly, the superhero life continued to call her, and the disaffected Cassie toyed with the idea of leaving her home and joining the Los Angeles-based rogue team of young heroes known as the Runaways. After seeing a story on TV about the Young Avengers, she sought them out, becoming a full member. But they don't tell me exactly what her powers are.
I'm thinking it's just the same as Ant-Man, or more so
Yeah,
Wasp.
I'm assuming it's the same thing because she's got other aliases are Cassie, Giant Girl, and Ant Girl.
Yeah, I'm
assuming it's the same
sort of
thing.
like a Ant-Man or Wasp even, because from the photo that was there, it looked like
that she's got wings and stuff.
Got the wings. She's basically got another Wasp suit.
Yeah. So, and the other thing I did find out.
Yeah.
So those 3 dates in 2022, February 18th, which is an untitled movie, so that's open. Black Panther is set for May 6th of 2022, and then the July 29th, 2022.
So 2 untitles?
Yeah. So basically, this movie is either going to take February or middle of February, late July.
Okay. Well, again, so let's go back to what I was saying.
Go ahead.
The 2 of them go in there to save it, and then I'm trying to figure out how to tie in Kang other than just strictly a after credit scene. And I want to say the after credit scene would be...
Because he's not going to be the villain of that movie.
No, he's not. He's just going to sort of be tied into it to where maybe they mistake Ant-Man for Kang as like...
See, I don't think you need to do that. I think you treat Kang...
just completely separate of
kind
the
of
movie?
Kind of like Thanos was
in the first Avengers.
For the first Avengers, where he's a threat that's coming, the Avengers will
I'm
get
down
to
for
it.
that, so just keep him separate, make an after credit scene of him. I can just see him going kind of like maybe like the slam of the fist, and like you show hit like a big window, whereas reality is kind of like almost like it's
phasing out.
Phasing in and out, because it's like basically like after the snap. Kind of reference towards that and realize that like his reality is shifting to him not being a conqueror anymore.
Well, when I'm saying this post-credit scene, I'm saying this is one of the first. This isn't going to be the first one we see of Kang.
Yeah,
the one that you're saying with the phasing out and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean maybe that works because like we're getting more towards like, oh shit, this is a problem. I feel like if Kang's going to be the main villain of Avengers, we will see one post-credit scene in Phase 4. So within the next 3 years, we'll see a post-credit scene of Kang. But by the time we get to Ant-Man 3, since even, let's say, I'll say for the sake of argument, it's the July one. The July 29th one. Then that means what? We've got less than a year to go until Avengers 5. That's more of your, like, I don't want to say... fuck it, I'll do it myself kind of a moment. I know Thanos didn't say that. I'm paraphrasing. Not the I'll do it myself, because that was Ultron.
Yeah, it's Age of Ultron.
That was not the last. Was that the last time we saw him before Infinity War?
Let's see, Guardians of the Galaxy. We saw a little bit of him in, not a lot. Just like a sort of Emperor Star Wars style.
Did that come out after Ultron?
I can't remember. That's 2014.
Okay.
Was Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm looking up right now. The
Age of Ultron.
It's
I think
10 years. It's 10 years of films. Like I forget when I watched them.
Yeah, no.
I even forget that Hulk came out before Iron Man 2
Yeah,
or Iron Man 3 or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, no, I think.
Yeah, so it was Ultron. Then Ant-Man ended Phase 2.
Yeah.
Civil War started Phase 3.
Guardians
1 was right before the movie before Ultron.
Yeah. So okay, so you had Ultron. I think it was the last time we saw Thanos.
Because
before
Ultron was the
Infinity
I'll do
War.
it myself. Not Ultron. Thanos wasn't in at all. Guardians 2.
Yeah. No, I think that's
because the movies we got after Ultron.
Yeah.
Ant-Man, we didn't see him.
Nope.
Civil War.
Nope.
Doctor Strange.
Nope.
Guardians 2.
Nope.
Spider-Man.
Nope.
Thor Ragnarok.
Not
Did
really,
we?
but we saw a ship.
Oh, his ship.
Go.
Well, Thor. Okay,
Thor's like, everything's going to be fine. The ship.
that's right. So up until Thor Ragnarok, we saw basically the beginning of what was going to be the beginning of Infinity War at that point.
Literally just
so I don't really count that.
No,
because
I don't either. You didn't see
so
him.
really Ultron was the last, like, the I'll do it myself was the last time we saw him until Infinity War.
Yeah.
Because Black Panther was the only thing in between Ragnarok and Infinity War. That's what I think. And fuck, that was even like 3 years. That Ultron one was 3 years before Infinity War. I think this could be the same thing where it's like, even if it's in February, it's like, hey, this Kang the Conqueror one, we're putting this at the end. This is the last time we're going to see Kang before Avengers.
That's
5.
why I was thinking, like, what you do is you have him at the end, him slam his fist down on something. No, so I'm going to switch up a little bit from what I was going to do. Slam the fist down the, like, computer desk type thing. It's all going to be hologram shit anyways.
Yeah.
He's going to pull up, like, what went on. He's going to show that, like, a bunch of little articles from our time showing, like, Snapshire throwing, like, one saying everyone's back, maybe one of Tony Stark dying, one of
his funeral.
Yeah, stuff like that. Just showing, like, all the little effects that went on, but basically saying everyone was brought back. And then pan out, show Kang, kind of like, you'll see him, but you won't see, like, every little detail.
Yeah.
And you'll also pan out to the window where the reality is, like, everything's rumbling, everything's shaking, and everything's shifting to him not being the Conqueror anymore.
Yeah, because
that's all I want.
Because his world is, we're changing the timeline.
Yeah. And we'll have one on there too about the quantum realm. Basically giving him the idea of how he's going to travel through time to fix this.
Yeah.
Because there's different Kang, like Kang the Conqueror is, I guess, a title.
Yeah.
And there's different ones throughout the timeline.
Oh, okay.
So he's the one that we know of is the one that comes back in time to fix his, because the rest of them are, like, succeed him.
So it's not like Kang is just traveling through time. It's, I got to fix this. How do I travel through time to fix it?
I think that's what the route that they'll do. Because it'll be like, that way Ant-Man and the Wasp play into...
Because then it's basically whatever they just explained in Ant-Man 3. Okay, that's how Kang's going to come back.
All the knowledge that was in Tony Stark's databanks, the Avengers Tower, that's all free game by 23 or 25, whatever fucking year it was for him. I forget.
In Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, I forget what year his was.
So, I mean, that to me makes the most sense.
I like that after credit scene, leave it at that.
Do you think it matters whether it's in the February or late July slot?
It doesn't matter. It's not really going to affect a ton.
Also, do you want to... this may be a topic for another day when we do Black Panther 2, but I'm going to tell you right now, kind of at the end of this, I'm going to tag this on because I feel like we're at the done of this. Guess what character might be in Black Panther 2? Storm.
Really?
So, from what I'm getting here, and this is from Showbiz Cheat Sheet, is that apparently they're eyeing Janelle Monáe for Storm in Black Panther 2. Take that as you may.
How do you spell that?
You're talking about Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
It's going to be Janelle.
Okay, if we type
Janelle
Monae.
A with an apostrophe, but
it's not an apostrophe, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
The accent on the A.
Yeah.
She has been in. The name sounds familiar to me. What she was? Oh, she was in like Moonlight, Rio 2. She was in The Equalizer with Denzel, Hidden Figures. She was in Ugly Dolls.
Okay.
She was a performer in Ugly Dolls. Let's see, what else was she in that we may know? Yeah, none of these is what I'm looking at. Bad Moms.
She was in Bad Moms?
Oh, this is soundtrack. I don't want soundtrack. I want actress. So she's going to be Peg in The Lady and the Tramp. She was Mandy in Ugly Dolls. and she was in Moonlight. Again, never saw it, but Academy Award. And Rio 2 was one of the first big things that she was in. Younger actress, about 5 years older than us, so like, what, mid-30s? But that may be your Storm in the MCU. So.
Not bad. That'd be there's your tie-in right there to X-Men. Mutants and X-Men.
Do you think they Do you think then we see a marriage scene between
maybe it's not a marriage per se, but it's an arranged marriage type thing?
Yeah, exactly. Between her and T'Challa.
And maybe it's not really like we don't get to see the marriage just yet. It's like this is the whole thing kind of interrupted by whatever happens with Namor.
Yeah, because we got to talk about... We're going to be talking about that again, too, of yet again casting for Namor, because they haven't done that. But let us know what you think down below about everything for the quantum realm that we talked in this topic of the podcast. Yet again, make sure to support us, patreon.com/most valuable podcast. That's how you come and support us. Make sure to follow us on Twitch sooner rather than later. These podcasts will be live on Twitch. Get ahead of the curve. Follow us, twitch.tv, and then also follow us on Twitter. I'm at Ricky Widmer. Johnny is at
War Machine 9085.
Your Instagram is
Thor_Odinson90.
And then Most Valuable Podcast is at Most Valuable Pod. I want to thank you guys for checking out the podcast. Thank you guys for listening and watching. And as always, have a good day, everybody.